Thank you for giving your valuable time, this 1 hour once a week for Bhagavad Gita, for understanding the Bhagavad Gita. So you all are very fortunate souls that you all have that eagerness to hear the Bhagavad Gita, the teachings of Krishna, and apply them in your lives. So last time we completed the second shloka, but I did not complete the explanation of the shloka. That is, there are 2 points remaining. You remember there were 4 lessons I told you all. Out of that, we discussed 2 lessons. Anybody remembers what are the 2 lessons? Raise your hands for answering the question. Anybody remembers what were the 2 lessons that we learned? And we
Yes,
left.
Mataji.
Yes, tell me, Deepak, please tell me.
Huh?
What were the 2 lessons that we learned from Shloka?
माता अभी मैं 2 लेसन लर्न नहीं किया अभी मैंने.
Okay. You all remember there were 4 lessons I mentioned and I had just completed 2 lessons out of that. Anybody remembers that?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Tell me. Padma.
One must seek the seer.
Very good. Yes. And second? Tame your
Aim.
Yes. Thank you so much. So this is actually these were the 2 lessons that we learned. Seek the seer and tame your aim. Let me just share my screen with you all. Give me a minute. So we'll be just within 10 minutes, we'll complete this second shloka and move on to the third. We should complete another 5-6 shlokas today, hopefully. Krishna willing. Everybody can see my screen? So we saw that, how Duryodhana had fear and, he was very diplomatic. So seek the seer, in seek the seer, we saw that, we should actually have a vision. We should have, we saw that taking shelter of the Guru, how important it is to take the shelter of the Guru. And tame your aim means actually really we should be focused in whatever activities that we are doing. We should be really focused from this. So, we started where we discussed that Dhritarashtra Maharaj had heard the whole Bhagavad Gita, but his heart didn't change till the very end. And then when Vidura came, he really had to shirk him and he had to chastise him. And then, he had to, purify, because he had to purify his intentions, because his intention was not, for the purification of the heart. His intention was when he was hearing from Sanjay, he was hearing that in anxiety that, okay, what will happen to my sons and what were the Pandavas defeated or not. So any activity, whatever we do, through our words, we can get to know what our attachment is. Somebody will say, oh no, again, it's 8 o'clock Wednesday and I have to attend Krishna Rupa Mataji's class. So boring it is, or, that mood should be that, oh wow, it is Bhagavad Gita class. Whoever is giving Bhagavad Gita class on Wednesday, let me go and hear him, So whatever, even if I'm reading Bhagavad Gita, okay, let me read Bhagavad Gita. It should not be only passive hearing, but it should be active hearing also. So if I'm hearing means what? I'm having a telephonic conversation with Krishna, with Prabhupada, or the devotees from whomever I'm hearing. So when I say, it should be like, they say that Shastra and me. But no, it should be Shastras for me. Bhagavad Gita and me nahi. It should be Bhagavad Gita for me. Hari Kirtan and me nahi, but Hari Kirtan for me, or Hari Katha for me. So the chanting of this Hari Katha, Mahamantra, is not a burden on my back which I'm carrying, or which the Guru has actually just put on me. Okay, okay, I'm, just carrying it for years and years. But it is an opportunity for me to advance in my bhakti. So it is going to be a bit painful in initial time, okay? But what pleases Krishna, what pleases my Guru, it is for my, it is good for my purification, and I will chant. So if you have seen, when you drink sugarcane juice, so you have that long, long hard sugarcane juice, and when you put it into the machine, you squeeze it to remove that juice. Every time it has to bypass through all those sharp, blades, and it, goes from one side to the other side, and again they remove it, and again this happens multiple times. And all those blades, what are they doing? They are cutting that rod, and then it is thrown into the bin. Why? So that the juice comes out. So the process of Hari Kirtan or Hari Katha or Japa, it can be like this. But, somebody might ask, why is our Gurudev, putting us through all those, cans of, in between and all, so he's putting us to actually for that sweet juice of bhakti to come out. So, tame your aim. It is very important. What is my intentions? With what mood am I doing? So Dhritarashtra also heard, but his heart did not change. Simply attending the class on Bhagavad Gita, we should understand what is my intention. So if I slept through the whole class, it is very horrible. But if we are awake through the class, and we are waiting, okay, when will this class get over? When will it be 9 o'clock? But if we are eagerly sitting and hearing, oh wow, this Bhagavad Gita, it's for me, my spiritual master Prabhupada, is speaking through this speaker, whoever is the speaker, may it be, myself or many other speakers will be coming, in the future. So, through this, speaker, it is for me now. So every devotee, when he is giving a class, or we must think that, okay, my spiritual master and Prabhupada are actually speaking to me through him. Krishna is speaking through this particular speaker, and I'm listening. So we have to tame our aim. Tame our aim means we have to be really very focused. Every activity in bhakti, like worshipping the deities or a Shaligram Shilas or reading Bhagavatam, hearing Hari Katha, chanting the holy names of the Lord, doing Kirtan, Krishna, I am doing this for you. I am doing this for that's the aim that should be there. So now this was the second lesson, taming the aim. Just a brief, I gave you an overcap of the whole thing that we discussed last time, and a little addition also. Then the third lesson is, this lesson is called Dham uproots Kam. What does this mean? Dham uproots Kam means keeping the right association. So it is Dharma Kshetra. The Pandavas, especially Bhimsen, always had a grievance against Yudhishthir Maharaj. That is all because of you we are suffering, if it was not you, we would not be like this. I would have been the king, walking on the royal with silk robes, and people would have, got me, good juices and nice servants, and I would be enjoying, but over here, I'm just begging like a dog in the middle of the forest. So who told you to gamble? Why did you do this? And why did you, retaliate? Why didn't you even fight back? Why? You all the time he had, this grievance actually for. So one day, he told Yudhishthir Maharaj. So, there was a river, and on one side was Yudhishthir Maharaj and the other side was Bhimsen. So one side when Bhimsen was there, from very far he's telling, Yudhishthir Maharaj, he said, it is all because of you. I don't want to talk to you. Let's, all the time, you have to, just tolerate. Why do you do this? So Yudhishthir Maharaj was very cool and calm on the other side. He said, okay, let's have a conference right now. And he said that, we will have it but you have to cross from that side to this side and come this side. So Bhim, Bhim said he crossed the bridge and he came to this side of the bridge of this river bank. And he, started talking. He felt very embarrassed. He felt that, how can I speak to my elder brother? How did I even say all this? I'm so ashamed. He was feeling very, guilty. So he's like, oh dear brother, please forgive me. Whatever you did is right. I'm very sorry and I'm very embarrassed that I spoke to you all this. But before that, please tell me, how did I get my heart changed so quickly across the bridge? I was criticizing you, across the bridge, and now I'm feeling so embarrassed. Why so? So, Yudhishthir Maharaj said that the the place has a very great influence on our character. On that side of the river bank, very close to the river bank, is a village of Chandalas. Chandalas means, who eat dog's flesh. So their dog flesh is being eaten by the people of that particular village. So that mentality overpowered your consciousness and you spoke like this. How, they do it, but I didn't tell you, but that is why I told you to please come across to this side of the river. And because on this side of the river bank, a village is, close by, and that village is a village of saintly people where, yagyas are performed and, there is Hari Kirtan, there is Hari Katha. So our discussion will be more healthier if it is done on this side. So he taught this lesson to Bhim Sen. So whenever we are, at a place, it has a more major influence on our consciousness. Now, even if you see where some auspicious things has to be done, people come to the temple and they do it, right? Because they know, okay, it's the right consciousness. And practically, we also, when we see, when we go to Mayapur, Mathura, Vrindavan, Dwarka, getting up at 3:30 in the morning is so easy, and taking darshan of Krishna Balram, it is so joyful. 16 rounds is like, it's just like butter makhan ki tarah, 16 rounds ho jate hain. And chanting 64 rounds is very simple. And, even doing parikramas in that dham for the whole day, walking, we don't feel also tired. We feel so regenerated. Why? Because Vrindavan is a place of continuous sadhu sangha. All the sadhus have been living over there for so many generations chanting Hare Krishna. So when you are there, it's very easy because the level of intensity overpowers our consciousness and become devoted. So therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami gives us 5 limbs of prominent devotional service. He says that Mathura Vas or Dham Vas, living in a sacred place, but if we live in a sinful place, chanting that only 16 rounds or taking the holy names of the Lord or reading something becomes very difficult. So Dham uproots Kam, which means that the right association we keep influences our consciousness, influences our japa. If we don't associate with like-minded devotees, often our japa will be very painful. And if we associate with like-minded devotees, our japa will improve. It's so important to have the right type of association. So like, they say that if you have one flowering tree, the whole forest becomes very fragrant. But if you have one rotten apple, the whole basket becomes rotten. So to revise again, seek the seer, that is taking the shelter of the Guru. Tame your aim, being really very focused. Dham uproots Kam means keeping the right association. The fourth one now is breach to outreach. What does that mean, breach to outreach? Breach to outreach means that means not devoted basically. So by the time Krishna is speaking to Arjuna in real life and real time commentaries are going on, even between Sanjay and Dhritarashtra, Krishna is telling Arjuna, don't give this message to anyone who is not austere. But it's too late, because Sanjay has already spoken all these verses to Dhritarashtra. Why? Sanjay is speaking. Is he disobeying Krishna? Yes, he is. But Srila Prabhupada, what does he say? He says that this is the only instruction of Krishna that devotees disobey. This Krishna says that do not give this knowledge to people who are not austere, not faithful, not self-controlled, not devotees. But Prabhupada says that devotee goes and gives it to people who are not austere, not faithful, not self-controlled, because the devotee is more merciful than the Lord himself, Krishna himself. So in this way, although Krishna said don't give it, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, he came in the role of a devotee, and he comes and gives this message of Bhagavad Gita far and wide through the chanting of the Hare Krishna. So we must make it a point, that we read Bhagavad Gita every day, at least 10 minutes, at least 15 minutes. You start with 5 minutes. You gradually every day you start with 5 minutes. After 7 days, you go to 10 minutes. After another 7 days, you go to 15 minutes. Like that, you increase your stamina of reading. So, Srila Shankaracharya says that Bhagavad Gita kinchita dita Ganga jalalava kanikapita Sakrita eva murari samarcha Kriyate tasya na yamena charcha. So what does he say? He says, Bhagavad Gita kinchita dita. If one studies and remembers the Bhagavad Gita even little every day, and Ganga jalalava kanikapita, and devote, and he drinks 1 drop of Ganga Jal water every day, and then he's saying Sakrida eva murari samarcha, and worships Krishna. Sakrida eva murari samarcha, worships Krishna every day. 3 things: reading Bhagavad Gita, taking 1 drop of Ganga Jal, and worshipping a deity. What will happen to such a person who is doing these 3 activities? Kriyate tasyayana yamena charcha. Yamraj has no conversation with such a person, which means such a person has become a very exalted person. So it says that, where there is one nice sloka, it says that Yatra Gita Vicharascha Pathanam Pathanam Tatha Modate Tatra Shri Krishna Bhagavan Radhaya Saha. So he says that a place where Bhagavad Gita is taught, learned, contemplated upon, in that place, Radha and Krishna manifest in a very joyful, satisfying, pleasing way. This is the verdict of the Shastras. So we should read it every day, like how the South Indian Brahmana, who, he read it. This South Indian Brahmana was not educated, but his guru had given an instruction that you read Bhagavad Gita every day. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to him and he was reading the Bhagavad Gita upside down. Kitab ko ulta karke he was reading. So and he was crying, he was profusely crying, seeing the, picture of Krishna and, the outer cover and the inner pictures. So the Brahmana said that, I'm not crying out of ecstatic love for. So he said that actually I'm a fool and I do not know the meanings. But however it is, I'm reading because my guru has told me to read Bhagavad Gita. So to fulfill the instructions of my, spiritual master, my Gurudev and even Prabhupada has always told us, we must read the Bhagavad Gita every day, at least for 1 hour. So we must take this resolution of reading the Bhagavad Gita. To start, we can take a resolution of 5 minutes, then, advance to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then 1 hour. So you have seek the seer, tame your aim, dham uproots come, breach to outreach. So breach to outreach means what? Not just to keep it to ourselves, but share this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita with everybody. It's like whatever I've heard in the class, 2 points, 3 points, whatever struck me, go and tell it to your neighbor, go and tell it to your best friend, go and tell it to your relative, go and tell it to your, company, anybody, colleague or anything. So that is called breach to outreach. And these are the 4 lessons that we learn from shloka number 1 and 2. Okay. So this is the end of shloka number 1 and 2. So we'll just go to the shloka number 3 now. I have to prepare, different slides. Just give me 1 minute. So we have this shloka number 3. But before that, we'll just chant the shloka number 3. Everybody is able to see my screen, right? Okay. You all can unmute yourselves if you all desire to and repeat after me, okay? Pashyatam Panduputranam. Is everybody awake? You all can unmute yourselves if you all desire and you all can speak, say after me. Pashyatam Panduputranam.
Shatapanduputraणाम्
Acharyam Mahatim Tanum.
आचार्यमहत्तिं च
Vyudhanam Draupada Putrena.
व्यूढानां द्रौपदपुत्रेण
Tava Shishyena Dhimata.
तव शिष्येन धीमता
Pashyatam Panduputranam. Acharyam Mahati Chamum.
आचार्यमहत्तिं
Vyudham Drupada Putrena.
व्यूढां द्रौपदपुत्रेण
Tava Shishyena Dhimata.
तव शिष्येन धीमता
Pashyatam Panduputranam.
Pashyatam Panduputranam
Acharya Mahati Chamum.
पश्यतां
Acharya
पाण्डुपुत्राणाम् आचार्य
Mahatim
महतिं च मुं
Vyudham Drupada Putrena.
Yudam
द्रौपदपुत्रेण
Dropadaputana
Tava Shishyena Dhimata.
तवशिष्येन धीमता
So what is he saying is, who is saying this? Duryodhana is saying this. And he is saying this to whom? He is saying this to Dronacharya. So he is saying that, oh my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. Duryodhana, a great diplomat. Please mute yourself. Please mute yourselves. Okay. Duryodhana, a great diplomat, wanted to point out the defects of Dronacharya. The great Brahmana commander-in-chief, Dronacharya had some political quarrel with King Drupada, the father of Draupadi, who was Arjuna's wife. As a result of this quarrel, Drupada performed a great sacrifice by which he received the benediction of having a son who would be able to kill Dronacharya. Dronacharya knew this perfectly well, and yet, as a liberal Brahmana, he did not hesitate to impart all his military secrets when the son of Drupada, Drishtidyumna, was entrusted to him for military education. Now, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Drishtidyumna took the side of the Pandavas, and it was he who arranged for their military flanks. After having learned the art from Dronacharya, Duryodhana pointed out this mistake of Dronacharya's so that he might be alert and uncompromising in the fighting. By this, he wanted to point out also that he should not be similarly lenient in the battle against the Pandavas, who were also Dronacharya's affectionate students. Arjuna especially was his most affectionate and brilliant student. Dronacharya also warned that such leniency in the fight would lead to defeat. So see, actually, what over here is trying to say is that Duryodhana wanted to say that please don't become weak. And if you see, Duryodhana had a lot of he had his own reactions on the battlefield when he saw both the armies. He saw his own army and he saw the Pandavas army also. He was very much in fearful, because firstly because of that particular place. Secondly, Duryodhana was very much scared because he knew the power of Arjuna, Bhima, Nakul, Sahadev. Also he knew that Krishna was on their side. He also knew that though I'm having so much powerful, he had an internal fear. There were two things. Though he was diplomatic in his behavior, he had that internal fear also, that what will happen now? Will we win the war or we will not win the war? So this was his dilemma that he had. And when he saw the strength of the Pandavas army, so internally he hid his fear, but externally he's going to Dronacharya and he's showing respect to Guru. So sometimes, if you want to, if you want somebody to do some work for you, what do? You go and show respect, right? So he had a lot of fear in him. And this fear, what happens is, it devours anybody. See, when will you be fearful? When you are wrong, you will be fearful. When you are right, you will never be fearful, right? You'll have experienced that, Hannah, in your lives. So if a person is very honest, he has nothing to fear. Even if he loses, even if he wins, he is actually absolutely equipoised. But over here, what is happening is, Duryodhana is actually going and trying to tell, Dronacharya that, see, already that powerful army is very powerful. They have a very powerful, but, in the subsequent, shlokas, he'll say that we also have a powerful army. We have Bhim, we have Karna, we have so many other kings, right, into our party. So, but, he's giving a warning also. What is he saying actually? What is Duryodhana's agenda? Duryodhana is actually, in the second shloka, is like quite fit to be a politician. But over here in the third shloka, he's pointing out Drona's mistake and he's warning that, see, please don't be very lenient, okay? If you be lenient, then we'll be defeated. And Arjuna is very powerful. So all these indirect, talks he's talking with Guru Dronacharya, his own guru. And, then Duryodhana, wanted that that Dronacharya not be lenient also, but also Duryodhana wanted to actually arouse anger in Drona. See, when a Kshatriya, when can a Kshatriya fight on the battlefield? A Kshatriya can fight on the battlefield only when, there is anger and there is passion, and, he needs to be aroused with his anger. Then only in that anger can he fight. And Duryodhana, wanted to anger Drona by revealing the disrespect of the Pandavas, who arrogantly came with their army, and not considering Drona's exalted position as a teacher and a warrior, and also addressing Drishtyadumna as the son of Drupada. Because, see, Drupad and Duryodhana, Dronacharya, they both were friends. But within the passage of time, what happened is, Drupad became the king, and Dronacharya, he became the guru for the Kauravas, Pandavas and the Kauravas as such. So once when Dronacharya had gone to King Drupad and saying that, okay, we are friends, we are childhood friends and all, and how are you? But Drupad had insulted Dronacharya, and that time actually Dronacharya had taken a vow. He had taken a vow that I will see to it that I will devour you one day. I will finish you one day. So now he had taken that vow, but when Draupadi and Drishtidyumna were born to Drupad, Drishtidyumna was sent to Dronacharya for military training. And being a Brahmana, and Dronacharya was a very honest Brahmana, or very, a very sober Brahmana, that he did not fall behind to give all the military secrets to Drishtidyumna, knowing that, because Drupad had taken a vow that, I will finish you by producing a child who is more powerful than you. So then this Drishtidyumna actually is born from that fire with Draupadi. And then Dronacharya is actually teaching all the military secrets. So what is the lesson we learned over here? That, for example, I am a teacher, and any enemy's child also, or enemy also comes to me. But what is my duty? I am a teacher. I am supposed to do my dharma. My dharma is what? To teach. Okay. So if I protect my dharma, the dharma will protect me. If I do not protect my dharma as a teacher, then dharma will not protect me. And that will be actually counted as sin. So because a Brahmana's dharma is to teach, anybody coming on his door, he's supposed to teach. So he started actually, he taught all the secrets and military plans to Drishtidyumna. Now Dronacharya thought that Drishtidyumna is my student, he'll be on my side. But Drishtidyumna, because his sister has got married to Arjuna, he went on the side of the Pandavas. So he's actually pointing out this thing also, that please do not go, laxed, or don't fall prey to all these things. And please do not fall weak also in your, fight with the Pandavas, thinking them to be, your students. So this is, what they are discussing in this, what you say. So one more thing over here is that see, Drishtidyumna is the student of Dronacharya. Dronacharya taught him all the military planks and all the secrets. Like Drishtidyumna excelled his, teacher also, Dronacharya, in the military arrangement of that particular war. So the lesson that we learned from this shloka is that a teacher feels very proud when the student excels him, or when the student goes even beyond his own, teachings, or he becomes a very great man or a great person. The teacher feels very proud. So, for example, if you see, we have, what do you say? We have our prime minister or any, person in a very big company, and he becomes a CEO of a particular company. And he meets his teacher and he says, I'm the CEO. The teacher feels so proud. Oh, my student is the CEO of a particular company, or he's become the prime minister or the president. So for a teacher, the pride would be that my student go more ahead of me. Wherever I am, he can excel more than me. So this is actually what one lesson we learned from this particular shloka. And even Dronacharya has a very open heart to accept and teach his student in such a way who has come. So it takes a lot of, vigor and valor and courage to teach the, child of your own enemy. So this is one lesson we have learned. And the another lesson that we learn in this particular shloka is that being on God's side is a million times superior to one's own political diplomacy and material expertise. So if you are on God's side, or if God is on your side, then what will happen is it is far more superior, rather than having so much of diplomacy and whatever material expertise you have, it is completely zero. So if you see, Duryodhana had that whole Narayani Sena, but he did not have Krishna on his side. And on this side, Arjuna had Krishna on his side. And where Krishna is there, definitely there will be victory. And Duryodhana did not realize this. So we know the story of where, Arjuna and Duryodhana, they both had gone to ask a boon from Krishna. So Duryodhana was thinking first I should ask, Krishna's Narayani Sena. That's it. I am just worried about that. And Arjuna wanted Krishna. So whatever they had desired, it came out to be true. So that's why, when we are on God's side, we are more, protected. We are more actually, like how a mother protects us, the Lord also protects us. And the Lord has also given an assurance in the Bhagavad Gita. In the 18.66 shloka, Krishna is giving us an assurance. Sarva dharma parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masucha. This is what assurance Krishna is saying. Sarva dharma parityajya. सभी धर्मों का परित्याग करके, give up all the religious, dharmas, whatever dharma. See, dharma means only not Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai. Dharma means, okay, I am a teacher, I am a mother, I am a father, I am a doctor, I am an engineer, I am a lawyer, I am a CEO. Keep aside all your designations and you please come to me. I will give you protection. And please do not fear. I will also help you to get rid of all the sins that you have done so far. This assurance Krishna is actually giving us. So this we need to actually see that how we can have Krishna on our side. Now we'll go to the next shloka. So these shlokas, they will go on a pretty faster pace. Why? Because now there is very less explanation, or there is very less what do you say? There is very less matter to this. We'll just see now what is the next shloka. We'll recite the next shloka. The next shloka we'll just recite it once so that it's easy to finish up this shloka. Okay. Give me just 1 minute. I will just unmute everybody. Yeah, and you all can speak after me. Okay. Atra sura maheshwasa
Tatra shura maheshwasa
Bhima Arjuna samayudhi
Bhima Arjuna samayudhi
Yuyudhano viratascha
Yudhano viratascha
Drupadascha maharatha.
Drupadascha maharatha.
So he's saying that, what is he saying over here? He's saying that, see, here is this army of many heroic bowmen. Bowmen means the one who are fighting with bow and arrow. Equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. Great fighters like Yuyudhana, Virata and Drupada also are there. So even though, let's read the, Popat also. Popat by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Even though Drishtadumna was not very important obstacle in the face of Dronacharya's very great power in the military art, there were many others who were causes of fear. They were mentioned by Duryodhana as great stumbling blocks on the path of victory, because each and every of them was a formidable as Bhima and Arjuna. He knew the strength of Bhima and Arjuna, and thus he compared the others with them. So last time also I had mentioned that how Bhima had defeated Duryodhana and how Duryodhana was always all the time, defeated. So let's go to the next shloka. Drishtaketuschikitana Kashirajascha Viryavan Purujita Kunti Bhojascha Saibhyascha Narapungava. So he's saying that there are also great heroic powerful fighters like Drishtaketu Chikittana, Kashi Raja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja, and Saibya. So, these all characters are there. Drishtaketu, he was the son of Shishupal, who fought on behalf of the Pandavas. Actually, Shishupal was against Lord Krishna and not, was against Lord Krishna and not against the Pandavas. And Drishtaketu was killed by Drona in the fierce battle. And the Chikitana means was, he was the Yadav, he was Yadava in the dynasty of Vrishni. And he was very, very chivalrous Maharathi. And was one of the, commanders in chief of the Pandava army. And Kashi Raja, he was the king of Kashi. And again, he also fought on the Pandava side. And Purujit and Kunti Bhoja were actually brothers of Kunti. So obviously they had to, fight for from the Pandava side. And Sebya, he was the father-in-law of Maharaj Yudhishthir. His daughter Devika was married to Yudhishthir Maharaj. And he is known as the Narapungava, the best of men. And he was recognized as a very powerful, heroic warrior. So this is the, character descriptions of these characters. So we come to the last shloka. Very nice shloka this is also. He says, Yudha Manuja, I'm sorry. Yudha Manu cha Vikranta. Uttamaujascha Viryavan. Abhadro Draupadeyascha. Sarva eva Maharatha. Very nice. You all are chanting pretty good. They are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamajana, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great fighters. So, this is a war scene that they have set now. There are great fighters, there are great, people. So, okay, next shloka. Akasmakato Vishishta. Ye.
अस्माकं तु
विशिष्टाये
Tani bodha dvijottama. Nayaka mama sainyasya. Sangyartha tan bravimite. So he's telling over here. But for your information, for best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military army. So now he's actually giving, telling, he's encouraging Drona that, see, even our army is not very less. If they have Bhishma and, they have Bhima and all, we have Bhishma over here. So he's saying that Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Samitinjaya Ashwathama Vikarnascha Somadatti Tathevacha. He's telling in our army who is there. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the sons of Somadatta called Bhurishwara, who are always victorious in the battle. Duryodhana mentions the exceptional heroes in the battle, all of whom are ever victorious. Vikarna is the brother of Duryodhana, Ashwathama is the son of Dronacharya, and Somadatti or Bhurishwara is the son of the king of Bahlikas. Karna is the half brother of Arjuna, as he was born of Kunti before her marriage with King Pandu. And Kripacharya's twin sister named Dronacharya. Sorry, Kripacharya's twin sister married Dronacharya. So all these, are there on our side, he's saying. He's giving a little confidence to Dronacharya also because he's the commander in chief of the army. What happened? He's saying over here, Anne cha bahava shura
अन्ये च बहवः
mad arthe tyakta jivita
जीविता
nana shastra praharana sarve yuddha visharada. He's a Visharad in, singing. So Visharad means very experienced or very qualified. He's saying there are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are very well equipped with different kinds of weapons and all are experienced in military science. As far as the others are concerned, like Jayadratha, Kritavarma and Shalya, all are determined to lay down their life for Duryodhana's sake. In other words, it is already concluded that all of them would die in the battle of Kurukshetra for joining the party of this sinful Duryodhana. Duryodhana, of course, confident of his victory on account of the above mentioned combined strength of his friends. So see, actually, Duryodhana, he had that fear. But when he was speaking, it seemed that, if he spoke, his fear would go away. But he had a hidden fear. He knew that he is going to lose. Even Duryodhana knew right from the beginning of the battle कि मेरी भी हार निश्चित ही है. अपर्याप्तं तदस्माकं बलं भीष्माभिरक्षितम् पर्याप्तं पर्याप्तं त्विदमेतेषां
पर्याप्तं इदमेतेषां
बलं भीष्माभिरक्षितम्. Now he's saying that strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. So now what is he doing is he's actually comparing two people. He is comparing Bhima and Bhishma together. He's saying that, saying here is an estimation of the comparative strength he is made by Duryodhana. He thinks that the strength of his armed forces is immeasurable, being especially protected by the most experienced general, grandfather Bhishma. On the other hand, the forces of the Pandavas are limited, being protected by a less experienced general Bhima, who is like a fig in the presence of Bhishma. Duryodhana was always envious of Bhima because he knew perfectly well that if he should die at all, he would only be killed by Bhima. But at the same time, he was confident of his victory on account of the presence of Bhishma, who was far superior general. His conclusion was that he would come out of the battle victorious as well as ascertained. So, Duryodhana is actually concerned that others might feel less important as, he praised Bhishma. So he diplomatically said that Bhishma, although the greatest hero, was very old, but he also now needs protection. So please you all also protect. So Duryodhana was confident of the full support of Bhishma and Dronacharya in the battle because they did not speak when Draupadi had appealed to them for justice while she was being disrobed in the in the court of the Kauravas. So that is why he was very confident ki, okay, now our victory is, pakka. Definitely we are going to win only. We are going to win the war because we have Bhishma. And in front of Bhishma now nobody can fight. Even Bhima cannot fight because Bhishma was a very, very experienced and a very victorious warrior than even Bhima also. Bhishma could defeat Bhima also. And even Dronacharya, being his own teacher, would be able to defeat, Bhima. So Duryodhana was always in fear. And when you are in fear, as I told you, that you will never be very confident enough to take the right decisions, and you will think. So when a person is in fear, though actually Duryodhana has ego problems a lot. Duryodhana firstly does not admit that he's the biggest example of indecision, and even his father, the biggest example of indecision. So he was not able to take proper decisions. He did not understand that here is, an expert people, the Pandavas. So let them rule the country, let them rule the kingdom, and I will just sit and, eat the, fruits. But he wanted the whole kingdom. Though he did not have any expertise, but he was dying, for the kingdom. He was dying to become the king. And that is why, because when we don't have, see, when we don't have our expertise area, we should outsource it, right? What do the big companies do today? What do? They don't, for example, big companies cannot, manufacture some software or develop some software. What do they do? They outsource it, right? America outsources to India, or some other country outsources to India, or India outsources to some other country. Where you don't have expertise, you outsource it. What Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana should have done, they should have outsourced it. And actually, if you go to see, this kingdom belonged to the Pandavas. Why? Because the father of these 5 Pandavas, who's called Pandu, what he did is he was not interested much in, living a very lavish life or a very royal or luxurious life. So what he did is he went to the forest with his 2 wives and children. And what he used to do, he used to go and fight with other kings and territories, and he used to acquire their wealth, he used to acquire the people and give it to Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra was like a, proxy sitting in his place, ruling the kingdom. But when Pandu died and when these children came to take shelter, Dhritarashtra did give shelter, but he was not ready to give the kingdom to the Pandavas, which they were actually, entitled to. They were actually entitled to this kingdom because their father was the king. But Dhritarashtra always had this envy with the Pandu Putras. He had envy with Pandu also, because he was too much in his own inferiority complex. And when he was always, he was thinking that I am blind and, my brother is not blind. I am this and I am disabled and my brother is not. So all the time he, lost his life into comparison only. So this is actually the problem with Duryodhana, and that's why he was struggling. He was not able to take proper decisions. Okay. So I halt over here for this session because it's 9 o'clock. Anybody has any other questions or comments? Okay, there are some questions in the chat box. Let me just see. Please can I explain? Okay, both third and fourth will explain today. Okay. Okay. So please raise your hands in case you all have any questions. Oh, you all understood everything? That's nice. So I want a feedback from this class is that, is the class you all feel is going in the right direction? With what expectations you all had come to this class? Are we, up to that expectations of the devotees who are attending this class? You all can put it in the chat box, okay, that you all are not happy, you all are happy, or if you all have some suggestions, you all can give me those suggestions also. Maybe we can work upon those suggestions also and try to make this class a more better. Because what I'm seeing is that there are 326 odd devotees on that particular group, but out of that only maybe 27, 26 are attending. So then I was thinking that maybe, you know, there is something that we need to improvise on and we need to actually upgrade on. So if you'll have any suggestions, you can put it in the chat box. Okay. Neelam Nevetya, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I have a question. Like you said first that Duryodhan was clear within himself. He was fearful that he would not win the battle. And then you said that he was very confident that he will win the battle because he had the powerful army with Bhishma and Drona.
Yes.
So there is some confusion. Could you just clarify this?
Yeah, sure. So see, initially he had this fear, but when he started speaking, you know, he himself was actually looking at other people and he was looking at all these other Maharathis. So he was actually, you know, he had this hidden fear and he also knew it. But his fear should not contaminate the others. So what happens when the leader is fearful, na? His all, you know, subordinates also become fearful. So he did not want that, you know, his fear should contaminate the other warriors also. So that is why he's trying to go and give courage. Because even Dronacharya internally knew that, you know, I am not so powerful. Because Krishna is on the other side, definitely there will be victory. So now when Duryodhana is actually giving this, encouragement or motivation, he's actually giving a motivational speech over there on the battlefield. So when he's giving that motivational speech, internally he has that fear. And his fear is there till the end. It's not that after speaking with Dronacharya, his fear has gone away. But he does not want that others also should be fearful. And that is why he's speaking those words, you know, encouraging words. Because a politician, what he does, he also knows I am not going to win the war. I am not going to win. But somehow or the other, you know, bade naare lagao, ye lagao, lo wo lagao. So, you know, you can say it's bol bachan, you know, in the sense. So he was also speaking words, but internally he also knew that he's not going to win the war. But others should not fall weak. Others should not fall weak in the battlefield. And he wanted victory somehow or the other. So that's the, you know, dilemma of Duryodhana, that he was fearful also. And he was, you know, in applying, he was fearful also and he was encouraging also. While being fearful, he was encouraging others. Okay, Mataji, have I answered your question, Neelam Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, thank you. Basically, he was pretending to be confident.
Yes, he was
But
pretending.
internally, he knew
Yes,
that he will not win the battle.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Sejal, you would like to ask something?
Yeah, ma'am. My question is when about Dham approach Kam. You said one thing, Bhim had a evil thoughts because he was in the village of evil person,
Yes.
Chandal. But then how come like in Ramayana, Vibhishan was only the soul who was pious in the entire Lanka. So is that majority makes a difference, or if I am good at heart, I can change others, or I can develop good thoughts in others?
So if you see over there, with Vibhishan, when he was there, he was constantly chanting the holy names of the Lord. His own room was sanctified. He had a tulsi plant also just outside his room, if you see in the Ramayana also. So he had one pure devotee with him and he was also chanting the Lord's name. And also he had good intentions also. So they say, you know, that wherever you are chanting the holy names of the Lord, that place becomes sanctified. Jahan pe bhi Hari Kirtan hai, भगवान का
Satyam.
नाम लिया जा रहा है, that full place becomes completely sanctified. And Vibhishan's heart was also sanctified by all the time continuously chanting Lord Ram's name, chanting the holy names of the Lord. So that is why Vibhishan did not get contaminated. It is like that you don't get wet in the rain. You don't get wet in the rain because you have an umbrella. The umbrella is what? That shelter is the shelter of Krishna or Lord Ram with you, right? But others are getting wet over there. Because you are sheltered by Lord Ram, the Lord Ram का umbrella आप पे है, तो आप सुरक्षित हो, right? That way. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm able to understand few things, but still there are few doubts which I'm not able to explain you how to get the explanations. Like
Okay.
then Bhima was not fully devoted to Lord Krishna when he had the negative thoughts.
When you are in passion, then that time you don't think about the Lord. He was angry. He was all the time frustrated, right? At that point of time, what he was saying is he was all the time frustrated that, okay, why, he already had that grievance with Yudhishthir. That why? And then that place also made a difference. That, okay, so for example, when you enter into a, liquor bar, then you will not feel like doing bhajan kirtan, right? In a liquor bar, what people do, they drink. They will not do bhajan kirtan. But when you come to a temple or to a satsang program, you will definitely feel like doing, bhajan kirtan or taking the holy names of the Lord. And that is why the place, see, even now, in the subsequent chapters also of Bhagavad Gita, there is the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So even a particular place also, ignorance में कौन सी place है? For example, a place of prostitution is a place of ignorance. A place of liquor bar is also a place of ignorance. What is in the mode of goodness then? Temples are in the mode of goodness, right? Shrines are in the mode of goodness. Mosques are in the mode of goodness. Why? Because वहां पे इबादत की जाती है. The Lord's holy name and very pure heart, we are actually taking the holy names of the Lord. So that place where Bhima was, he was influenced by that place. Even in one of the, this I have read that when Kunti and all the Pandavas, they were, in the forest, and at one particular place, Kunti felt that I should get married again. She had 5 sons and a daughter-in-law, and she felt that, oh, I should, get married now. And in those days, women used to not get married, second time. At least I'm talking about Dwapar Yuga. But as soon as she quit that particular place and she came to that, and then she was wondering, "Ki, how come I thought of getting married? Such a wild thought this is." But then later on, she came to know that it is a place of influence. That place influenced her to get married because she did not have the support of her husband. She was missing her husband. 5 sons are there, but they are also in forest. So she was, she was missing that protection from her husband also. And that's where she felt. So that particular place had that influence that put her into bewilderment. And putting into bewilderment means what? That place was a place of passion. It was not a place of ignorance or it was place of goodness. It was a place of passion where she felt passionate enough to get married. Okay, Sejal ji. Any more doubts you have, you can get it clarified. Okay, I'm ready to give you an answer in details.
No,
So
I
I'm
got it.
looking at, yeah.
Like
So,
our it affects the friendship, the culture we are having, the place we are living, that influences our mind and thoughts. I got your answer. I got the answer.
see, also as devotees, I had just gone to one place at one of my, relatives' place. And when I stepped into the house, I was feeling a very heaviness in the house. And, I was feeling that there is some, there is some evil in the house. And then later on, I came to know that their one, family member had expired, but he expired in a very, means he had actually committed suicide, and he expired at a very early age. And that thing was prevailing in their house. But because they were not taking the holy names of the Lord, and there was no mandir, just a very small, picture was there, and nobody was so much, inclined towards spirituality. So that thing was prevailing. And then I was just thinking that why am I feeling, my feet were feeling very heavy in that house. I said, why am I feeling so heavy? And as soon as I moved out of their house, and then, we have an habit of chanting, going on or driving or run. So we have an habit. Then I was feeling very light. So then after a month or so, I came to know that, there is some, that evil soul is actually moving in that particular house. And I was feeling, my feet were feeling very heavy in that house. But because I had this kanthi mala, and because of this tilak, so I was much protected. So wherever I go, I am actually having this particular tilak on my head, and I'm having this kanthi mala, that has been this. And my bead bag is always with me. So it was there in my purse. So nothing evil could touch me. Otherwise, it would so happen that it would enter maybe my body.
Got it. Understood, ma'am.
Yeah. Disha, you have a query?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Mataji, like you said, that if Krishna is on our side, then even our sins will be destroyed, right? So when I was even reading Putna lesson, that time also one thing just came in my mind. Like if we are liberated from our sins, then like isn't it unfair to people to whom the sins are being committed to? Like if I'm doing something, if I have wronged that person, and if Krishna forgives me, then it will be unfair to that person, na? That is my question.
You have a very compassionate heart, and there's a heart of a, nice soul Vaishnava. So see, in chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita and chapter 5 of the Bhagavad Gita, we will discuss elaborately on karmas, how karmas affect, us, and how when we do a sin, what happens to us, and in case our sins are forgiven, what happens to the other person also. So maybe we should wait for that particular thing where we will elaborately discuss on karma chakkar, or the karma cycle. Okay.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Because currently it is too early to tell, without having a background of the chapter 2 to tell you everything about karma. Okay.
Okay, Mataji.
Anybody else has any questions? Okay. So somebody in the chat was telling me that, let me go through the chat. Suggestion. Please start attendance system before session ends, so that we will come to know who is regularly attending the class. Okay, thank you so much for this. Because, when I say bhakti or devotion to the Lord or devotion to Bhagavad Gita, see, devotion to Bhagavad Gita means only devotion to Krishna. Okay. So when I say devotion to Bhagavad Gita, it has to have a free will. I cannot choke up somebody and say, you have to attend my Bhagavad Gita class. People should come out of their free will and they should attend these classes. Also, Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita says that I have given free will to all the living entities in this world. So if they want to come to me, I will embrace them. If they don't come to me, still I will provide them everything, like how a father provides the child. So now over here, the matter is of free will. आप स्व इच्छा से आते हो या नहीं. जैसे for example, a boy and a girl, they both love each other. Okay. So you don't have to tell the boy Now go and meet the girl. Now do this. It's very natural for him that he is definitely going to call up the girl and fix up a meeting place. And even same for the girl also. She is also going to be devoted to the boy because she has love, inside. So when you have love for the Lord, you will automatically come for the class. My role over here is that I selflessly have to give you this particular knowledge, what my seniors, my spiritual master, or Srila Prabhupada has given. Okay. So that suggestion, yeah, it's good. Y'all can maybe just in the chat say PPPPP means present, present, present. That is fine. But over here, it's all a matter of free will. Okay. Okay. Thank you for your explanation, Crystal. Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm sure that you all are enjoying these classes. Oh, I've just